Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's been announced that May 26th, 2018 will be the date of the royal wedding for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. May 26th is the 146th day of the year, and in the language of Gematria, which is part of Kabbalah, which is the code that the royal family and many elites operate by, in the language of Gematria, United Kingdom equals 146. And here we're getting a wedding on the 146th day of the year. And think about the hit show on TV, Game of Thrones, about the Seven Kingdoms. It also shares this gematria of 146. And think about what the United Kingdom is. You know, where Britain is, the sun never sets on Britain because Britain has stakes in all 7 continents of this earth, including the United States of America. And as I mentioned, the day of the engagement, it was announced 73 days after Prince Harry's birthday. United equals 73, the word Britain equals 73, the word Mason equals 73, the word perfect 73, significant number. This ritual reminds me of what happened in June 14th, 2016, the Grenfell Tower fire. June 14th in the UK is written 14/6. Put out a video that day. You know, my channel was deleted days later, in part for exposing this. Apartment fire equals 146, just like United Kingdom. And think about that date, June 14th, 14/6. The Grenfell Tower opened in 74. Burnt Offering equals 74. The movie Towering Inferno came out in 74, likely as predictive programming. This was a major ritual, the Grenfell Tower, and it didn't happen on June 14th by accident. In the same way, the royal wedding's not happening on the 146th day by accident. This is the real United Kingdom. It goes beyond the UK. The United States of America, very much a part of the United Kingdom. Why do you think these nations always go to war together? Ever since the Revolutionary War, which was all theatrics by the numbers, I'm sure many people really died. But ever since that war, these are 2 nations that have fought everyone else together. Think about it. Something else that I talked about is when Neil Fingleton died. This was the 7-foot, 7-inch giant from the UK who starred in Game of Thrones and other television productions, movie productions. He died last year, February 25th. The word death equals 25. He died on a date with numerology of 44 and 64. The word kill has gematria of 44 and 64. He died on a very fitting date for death. And I covered his death that day, and I said, watch, the death of a 7-foot, 7-inch giant just before the announcement of the release date for Season 7 of Game of Thrones about the 7 Kingdoms. I said, watch, when the show releases, I guarantee you it's going to be synced up with his death. And when I covered that, they hadn't yet announced when Season 7 was coming out. And I haven't talked about this since February 25th, 2017. But look, Season 7 of Game of Thrones ended up launching July 16th. And that was exactly 142 days from his death. And his name's Neil Fingleton. You see? They killed a 7-foot, 7-inch man in tribute to the launch of their Season 7. This is what it is in the world of Kabbalistic rituals. And understand, Kabbalah in itself is not evil. There is an evil side of Kabbalah. This is what the tyrants operate by, the evil side. You could say that there's nothing evil about scheduling a royal wedding by the numbers on the 146th day. So that's not the evil side. But how about an apartment fire by the numbers killing people? That's absolutely evil. How about ritually sacrificing a man for the launch of a hit TV show? You know, how's that anything but evil? And I guess in the UK, when the royal family does things, a marriage, that gets a wedding or a holiday over there. Remember, it was Harry's. I'll just show you this. It was Harry's 74. It was 73 days after his birthday, or his 74th day of being 33 years old, that the engagement was announced. Holiday equals 74. London 74. Remember, London, where the modern era of Freemasonry began with the Premier Grand Lodge in 1717. Masonic 74. Supposedly the United States got free on July 4th, Independence Day, but not really. As for the Grand Lodge in London going back to 1717, remember Mason equals 17. And they call it the Premier Grand Lodge. Premier's got that gematria of 42, 48, 84, 105. Let me type in Freemason first. Remember the 42 and 48. 42, 48. In Hebrew, Freemason also equals 48. And also, I'll type in Masonry, 84 and 105. And you saw Premier had gematria of 84 and 105 as well. The Premier Grand Lodge, 1717. And not in London arbitrarily. Also, England has the gematria of 33. Harry's 33. 132, big one with the royal family. Princess Diana died 132 days after the Queen's 71st birthday. The word royal, 71. Westminster also has that gematria of 132, like England, like Princess Diana. Also like United States of America. Here we are talking about a wedding between someone from England, someone from the United States of America. Familiar numbers popping up all over if you're paying attention. And it's not arbitrary. It's because everything's been crafted by this code. And just a reminder to those of you learning gematria, these 4-base ciphers, they're the ones worth mastering. Almost everything that is coded in the media is done with these 4-base ciphers. When I began teaching, I only knew about 2 of those. I didn't know about the reverse alphabetic order. And just with those 2-base ciphers, I was almost able to pick up on everything. So remember, you learn those 4-base, you'll be in great shape. And anyway, I also want to talk about this here, this Bank Holyne, what they wrote up here. Bank Holyne. The media is very well versed in this code. And so I just want to see what Bank Holyne meant. They're saying that people are going to get a holiday, and I'm not from the UK, so I don't get the full joke, but what I noticed right away is it equals 112. Mathematics equals 112. 1 plus 1 is 2. Circle has gematria of 112. The mathematics of the circle. Remember, Princess Diana died at age 36. Prince Harry, her son, is getting married to this woman while she's 36. This woman's full name equals 97. Princess Diana died in 97. The word sacred, 112. That's what a wedding's supposed to be. It's supposed to be sacred. Prince Harry's getting married 112 days before his 34th birthday. Also, the royal family, very much Zionists. They're the UK, big part of the Zionist agenda, establishing the Zionist nation of Israel. And just go back to the Balfour Declaration, drawn up November 2nd, about delivering the Zionist state. 112, Zionist 112, Judaism 112, theater 112. So, there it is. There's why your royal wedding is May 26th. For you sports fans, big news in the NFL this morning. I've been saying since just after September 23rd to look out for the Eagles to be in this Super Bowl and to look for them to lose to the AFC. And I predicted the Eagles would become 10-1 this year. Predicted that when they were 3-1. And I predicted that they would win that game, becoming 3-1. After they won it, I said, look for the Eagles to be 10-1 this year. Their record right now is 10-1. While their record is 10-1, we get this big signing. Alshon Jeffrey signs 4-year extension for $52 million. That means about $13 million a year. And remember, this is the year of Super Bowl 52 that's being hosted in Minnesota. Minnesota 52. You see? And US Bank Stadium, the stadium that's hosting it, has this gematria of 155. The day before they opened it, Denny Green, the former coach in Minnesota, was murdered. He was killed 155 days after his birthday, and exactly 52 days before the first game of the season for Minnesota. Said then, ritualistic murder for the future planned Super Bowl. And Denny Green is from Pennsylvania, where the Eagles are from. Notice US Bank Stadium's also 38. So is Minnesota. So is death. So is murder. So is killing. So anyway, Alshon Jeffrey, he's currently 27 years old, the ritual number. This news of his $52 million contract just before Super Bowl 52 comes 74 days before his birthday, or a full span of 75. And his last name is Jeffrey, spelled like this, 75. You see? From the date of the extension, which is today, December 2nd, until the Super Bowl is a span of 65 days. And this was the reason I explained that the Eagles would be 10-1. Philadelphia equals 101. In the Bible, it's the Church of Philadelphia. Here, I'll just do it like this so you can see it easily. You see this? Church in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, gematria of 61 and 101 in our base ciphers. Also church, 61 and 101. The name Philadelphia comes from the book of Revelation. And with regards to the 65, Christianity, 65. You know, pull out your Sumerian gematria. Christianity equals 930. In the Bible, the 930th chapter is where the Christian part begins. The Old Testament's 929 chapters. The New Testament's 260 chapters. The 930th chapter is where the Christianity begins. You know, it's amazing to me how many people watch my videos when I'm decoding and talking about the Bible, and then they'll leave a comment like, the Bible's not about mathematics, that's the Quran. That's the comment of someone who doesn't want to see truth. The fact of the matter is, again, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all based in the Kabbalah code. They're all created by the same people. Abrahamic, they're the three Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Judaism's the oldest. Did I just say Quran? I mean Islam, Muslims. Anyway, those three religions, they're all Abrahamic because they're all centered on Abraham, the biblical figure. And how many chapters are in the Torah where the Kabbalah code comes from? 187. They're all books of mathematics. You know, you want to watch my videos and then just say, no, that's just Islam. That's just Judaism. No, that's your religion too. Are you kidding me? How does the New Testament begin? How does it begin? Does it begin with the 42 generations to Jesus? Is that how the New Testament begins, with the 42 generations to Jesus? Yes, it is. How many books are in the New Testament? Are there 27? Yeah, and Matthew's the first one, 27. You see? By the way, the word new equals 42, and Christianity was the new belief system. You know, it wasn't based in a God as terrible as the one from the Old Testament, even though a third of the New Testament is the Old Testament. The entire Bible is mathematics. And again, look at New Testament, 66. The 66th book of the Bible is where the New Testament concludes, where you learn about the number of the beast, 66, which is 666, which is a Greek isopsephy riddle. The Greeks wrote the New Testament. That verse about 666 begins, here was wisdom, 66. You see? You see? So, from rigged sports across the world, and all of sports are rigged across the world. If there's gambling on it, it's rigged. To royal weddings, to whatever propaganda shows up in the headlines next, it's all done by the code. No exceptions. Focus on those 4 base ciphers. Get good with those and you'll go far. And part of the reason I'm emphasizing to stick to the 4 base ciphers is because a lot of you are seeing other people who are doing this. They're pulling up all the ciphers and they're typing in a word. It could be any word. And they're looking at all the things. And these ciphers are all relevant. They're all relevant. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to say, okay, the story is about a guy named Tom in a church. You don't want to like write down all the numbers from church and then write down all the numbers from Tom and just try to connect all the ciphers. It's just not good mechanics. You can do it, but oftentimes it's going to lead you to crazy town. It's just like the other day I did the video on why Kevin Durant got the tattoo of Tupac on his leg and why he explained it on the day he did. The person who passed that story on to me, I'm grateful for, but they did this. They tried to connect Tupac and Kevin Durant through every single cipher. And then I just looked at it and I said, nah, man, you should have just looked at the 4 base ciphers because it's like this. Kevin Durant talked about his Tupac tattoo on his 61st day of being 29 years old. And I just want you to see this. Kevin, 61 and 74, right? Tupac, 61 and 74. And notice also the 29, because he did this on his 61st day of being 29. And again, a lot of parallels with Tupac's death and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. His final album, Him on the Cross. Jesus, also 61 and 74. And if you use your S exceptions, which still count as these base ciphers, that's just counting S for 10 instead of 1, Jesus is also 29. And, of course, Cross, Tupac's final album, On the Cross. Kevin Durant joined the Warriors in Oakland on July 4th. And Tupac, he gave credit to the Bay Area, where Oakland is, for becoming a better rapper. So, the point I'm trying to make is, the guy who passed the story on to me, he did some interesting decoding. He tried to use every single cipher and just figure out where the overlap was. If he would have just focused on the base ciphers, he would have drawn a lot more clear picture. He didn't pick up on how it was Kevin Durant's 61st day and the overlap with Kevin, Tupac, Cross, Jesus. And let's also not forget that in terms of NBA, finals also 61. Kevin Durant won the finals last year. The story coming out after he's an NBA champion. The finals began last year on June 1st. The perfect day for the NBA finals to begin. That's the day leaving 213 days left in the year. So, again, you guys want to get good at gematria? I'm not saying that the other ciphers aren't relevant. They are. But you want to make strong arguments? This is right here. This is the foundation. Every decode starts right here. After you've figured out all there is to know about a subject using these, then you can start looking at the other ciphers. This is like building a house. You can't build a house without building the foundation first. That's the way to think about this. If this is construction, and this is construction, all these other things are like other components in the house. Windows, doors, roof. You don't start building the roof first. Always start here. All right, truth seeker. Until next time.